Welcome back. This is MDawg, and we are back for another episode. So for better or for worse, I think I actually am going to I was looking at all these spikers, and to me, if I had to choose one spiker from the ones that are in stock here, I mean, obviously 18 I think is the number one choice. There's a lot of other good ones here. In fact, at Mosquito, not many are sold out except for 17 and 18. And I think my next choice might be 16, although it's close. Several of these are good. Certainly the blues, number 1 or 2 are great. I mean, there's just a lot of them. So, but I think we're actually going to spend the 50 silver. And the first thing we're going to do is go back to Belaya. I just want to see at Belaya with this lure, just briefly see like if we can catch anything. If not, we'll just put the lure away for now and get it out later. It will actually be, that lure will work in a lot of different situations. So if we're able to hold on to the lure, thinking about what do we want to have here. If we can hold on to the lure, then look at that rough order. How much is that worth? 31 silver. My actual hope is that we're going to spend most of this episode at winding. Although, I guess that does somewhat depend on how long we get distracted about all of this. So remember, we're over here at 71.37. We got a little rain. We actually have a spiker now. Let's see if we're getting any bites at all. All right, there we go. There's a grayling. That's what we wanted. We wanted to find some grayling. So we will, excuse me, we will take that. Let's, I just want to be a little bit louder. I guess I can change it on my end as well. I'm actually just going to dig real quick. Just going to dig real quick. All right. I think that's a brown trout. I think that's actually a brown trout. So this is where it starts to get fun. Look at this XP. These grayling, these brown trout, they really add up in terms of XP and silver. When you hear people talking about coming to Belaya and using this approach instead of all the feeder fishing that I typically do, this is what they have in mind, because they're most often there's some reasonable spots here at Belaya, even though it's a tiny little map compared to most a lot of the maps. You can usually do something. Since we're so close, let's just go see if we have a little rough on. It'd be nice to complete this little rough order. Just, we could almost, you know, we'll probably more than break even, not only on the travel cost, but the cost of that lure, if we can get this rough order and catch a couple of grayling or brown trout. It's still early for rough. We may not see rough yet, but that's okay. Everything we catch, we're leveling up bottom fishing, and we're good with that. All right, so we'll bounce back down here. Just as an idea, That brown trout worth 10 silver. Grayling worth 2 silver. It's so funny that the fish we caught out at the Norwegian Sea, I mean, how long is it going to take for us to actually top those, since we were using gear that is so much stronger than anything we'd be able to afford for months and months. But it's a brave new world now that we've got the Norwegian Sea out in the game, I guess. So anyway, if we end up staying here long enough to complete that rough order, between that and how much these fish that we catch over here are worth, that'll pay for that lure, and I'll feel good about that. And yeah, now we're leveling up spin fishing, right? But like I said, hopefully this will be a little longer episode. And I'd like to spend some quality time at Winding Rivulet. But I guess it does depend on how all this goes. I guess the other argument is, why don't we just let this whole episode be Belaya, and then spend an episode at Winding next episode. There's some things we're thinking for as we're fishing here. Let's see how this actually goes. The best fishing of the day in this spot may be around 5 or 6 a.m. till about 9 a.m. It's hard to know. One of the things that I think is important as you're fishing at a map, kind of like what we're doing here at Belaya, you experiment enough, because you do want to be able to fish for, you know, the whole 24 hours. If you're going to stay here for a day or multiple in-game days, you kind of want to have a strategy. Well, where am I putting my fishing lines? What am I doing with them? Where am I putting them during different parts of the day? Very surprised that we have not had another bite, by the way. We're at 22. Gotta keep digging. There we go. There we go. It's a little perch, right? I'll take whatever we can get right now. Yes. 8.7. Oh, is this fire still going? From when we wow. That's from when we made the tea. Should just buy some more tea, and I don't know. I don't think it'll be going by the time we get to overnight, but if it is, we might go ahead and craft a little bit more tea. If they have any at the grocery store here. Oh, interesting. That would be a lot. We're not going to catch that many. I was just trying to see, like... Is there anything else besides that rough order? Probably not. Let's go down to 18, I think. Let's just see. I'm also going to cast... Actually, let's don't, because we're going to... Probably going to cast straight out a little more. And so if we slow down the speed too much, it'll end up downstream more than we want it to be. There we go. Oh, it bounced off. Now, that wasn't a marker, so I'm not super upset. I was a little careless with that, but it did bounce off. It's a little bit of a bummer doing the bait harvesting leveling while we're spin fishing, because it means so much of the time our energy is not high enough to get a full cast. But it's worth it to me to keep working on bait harvesting. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Nice brown trout. Oh yeah, this is a blast. You don't have to catch those brown trout that often for it to become really worth it, you know? So that's huge. Just knowing we have the possibility of brown trout right there, that is huge. Now, technically, the other option we could have done, I was so focused on the rough and not sure what we were doing here, how long we were staying. The other thing we could have done is just like quickly put the things out closer to where we're fishing, quickly knocked out this crucian carp order. In fact, let's just see if we can do that here. What are we fishing with? I mean, oh, that would have been a little rough maybe. If we just change the hook size, I guess I'll put bread on. Let's just, oh, we don't have any. Let's make some real quick. Because remember, we put our points in this now, so we should make at least 6 out of 10 every time. How about 9 out of 10? Let's just see if we can get a crucian, if it doesn't take too long to get a crucian. We're bouncing back and forth pretty often anyway. I love this bite rate though. The big thing we're doing right now is just leveling up our bottom fishing. Remember, if you're new to the game and still with me in this leveling experiment of an experience, we got really distracted in the beginning by marine fishing. But remember, the more you do something, first of all, that increases the chance of getting higher quality fish. Second of all, as we level this up, we unlock new rigs. It's going to allow us to fish, to target things more specifically, more successfully. It's going to give us more variety in the types of approaches we can use. It's going to change our fishing experience in a lot of ways. So we'll get one max cast here before we switch over to our shovel. So it really is the name of the game for most, for the most part, when you're low level. Not only cafe orders, the other thing I would say is just try to get high bite rates and just start leveling up your different types of fishing. You'll gain the benefits of that in the long run if you sort of prioritize it now. And it may become clear to you as you're doing these different types of fishing, what type of fishing you enjoy the most. And if you do start to figure that out and you test it, in other words, you keep doing it and confirm that that is what you enjoy the most, that's where you start to specialize and spend the majority of your time doing that thing and leveling it up faster than anything else, perhaps putting your skill points in that more than anything else. There's a nice little brownie. That's 2 browns we've caught by going straight out to the side here. Ooh. This is the perfect size fish. We can catch it. Oh, it's a nice grayling. Just stay on there, please. Yes. 1,700 experience for a grayling. Up over a kilo grayling? That's going to be nice. All right, so this is the spot. I thought it was. What we were missing last time was the lure. We got the lure now. We're still in the spot. We might not be getting a fish every time. We may not have the casting distance to have the same results that perhaps some people would have here, but it's good enough. It is definitely good enough. All right, I'm going to run down one more time, but then after this, we'll probably won't run back down until it's like full on nighttime, because this will be some pretty good bite rate for our spin fishing. All right, did we actually catch our crucian? Nope, but we caught a nice roach. Beautiful. Beautiful. No rough, huh? All right. The fire has gone out, by the way. In case you were wondering. Kind of need to think about if we were to catch a big fish. I don't know what we would do. I think we would stay down current from it, even though it does have a chance of running to the south. It would be going against the current, so I think that'd give our best chance. Because once it starts moving north with the current, we might have a hard time stopping it, even if we try to get in front of it. All right. Woo. Nice trophy asp for fusion. Very nice catch. Let's see where fusion is level-wise. 26. Okay. A Snatcher S002 at Volkov. That's a nice catch. Obviously. Alright, one more cast and then we're going to shovel. The funny thing is, catching an asp that's that size at Volkov, you're going to think the whole time it's a like decent salmon, right? Oh, I love it. Another nice grayling. You're going to think it's a nice... Wow. Wait, where'd it go? No, oh, that's a different one because that one's 9. So it hadn't updated yet. I was about to say, how is a 7 a global... That was a global weekly record for fusion. I'm a little confused. Why didn't it pop up yet? Should be popping up. It's not showing up as a trophy yet. All right, we'll have to, maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it. Give it a minute, and then hopefully it will show up. Somebody did ask where he got it from, so we'll confirm. I'm sure it's Volkov, right? Based on his level and everything. Yeah, he said he got it on Volkov. The stats just haven't updated yet. Same place everyone fishes. I don't know where everyone fishes these days at Volkov, but it could be like trolling between the islands. That's a pretty standard place over the months and months and months. All right, it's tough because it's gotten a little bit late on us, but we're going to try another cast or two here. You could definitely still catch a fish at this time. Anything before midnight, I feel like midnight is like, all right, it's going to really get super slow. Before midnight, there's still a reasonable chance, I think. And he said Snatcher 002 default hooks. .28 kilo leader. Trying just not to get cut off by the pike. That's what I'm guessing. That is a beautiful catch, though. I don't know if Fusion has been playing long enough to recognize, like, that's actually a significant catch. Volkov, 9+ kilo trophy asp. And I don't know if Fusion will watch this video, but if you do, grats on that. All right, so it's now past 11. We've had several casts in a row. No fish. One thing I do like about this lure, though, you see it's got some dark colorations to it. So it's really, I mean, it's one of those lures you feel like you can use just about any time. Maybe if it's really bright and sunny out, this wouldn't be your go-to. I mean, it would be our go-to because it's the only spiker we have, but... I was hoping I could get one more spinning fish here, but it's not looking like it, is it? All right. Ooh, love to see those red worms. Speaking of red worms, we do not want to use red worms here right now. We want as high a bite rate as possible because we're just trying to do this little rough order. I guess I got to decide, are we staying or going? What in the world? We really don't have a fish? I'm going to put these back at 12. I think we were at 12 last time we were here on the clip. And I'm surprised this sat here for that long and didn't have a bite. Let's see what our clip's at. Yeah, it was at 12. Okay. Ooh. Almost 10 silver for that roach order. That's awesome. We're not going to have a trophy roach. We don't have any rough yet. Hopefully those are about to come in, but if they don't, we'll just take off. Or, you know, see what we're going to do. 46 more silver. So, with that cafe order and the fish we have in our net, we have paid for the lure. Paid for the lure. Love it. Yeah, look at that grayling. 12 silver. And then 2 10 spots for the brown trout. Oh, man, you got to hit them. But if you can hit them, it's hard to compete with that silver for, you know, somebody who is at this level in terms of where they're fishing at. So, what are we using? I wanted to check this. The Express Fishing Arrow S60. Now, it's going to be a little bit pricier here because we're at Belaya. So, it's this one, except it's the 60. So, that's 178. That was such a good, which it's less than that. I mean, you know, whatever. But that was such a good hitting level 13, no, 11, whatever it was. To get that reward, man, what a cool thing that was. And then this Hydra Smart, the Hydra Smart. Is it this one? It's got to be, right? Oops. 25S. HydraSmart 25S. Yeah, it's that one. All right, cool. So that one's probably 60, 50 something, 60 silver at Mosquito. I don't know. It's a nice little setup. I know some people were saying it's not ideal for Belaya, and I get that. I get that, but it's still a nice little setup. All right, have the rough died? Has our rough spot dried out? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of places we can catch a rough, but this is a little weird. This is a little strange. They were hitting there so good before. Uh-oh. Weird. White-eye bream. Alright, I have a feeling this is going to be a rough. That's a big rough. Carrots are good little food you can snack on if you don't like for your fishermen to get too hungry. Goodness. Well, this might be an even better rough spot, to be honest. The size of them down here is great. So I forgot the way they changed this. Technically, we still have bread left over. But if you don't have a full 4 portions, you can't make it into bait. Which is interesting. We're up to 10%. Oh, we're getting close to level 16. Which means, honestly, which pretty much means gear-wise, what we should be saving up for is something that we can fish at Quarry with. I don't know which line it's on. This has been really slower down here. This has been the better spot, I think. I think overall this has been the better spot. Those are like in the exact same spot. We should see how much time is left on this rough order. We still got plenty of time. And I think, you know, we'll wait another minute or two to see if we can do them all for non-marker ones. All right, it's almost time to start spin fishing. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go a little farther clip here. Kind of just want to change this bait out. I know it was about to catch a rough, but we're gonna go spin fish. So trying to do something that might be a little slower, and just kind of see. We know there's roach over here. Let's see at 15 clip if we get a crucian gibble. Early morning crucian gibble over here. Sometimes they really like the bread. Okay, so it's 4:21. It's a little early still, but let's start casting. Just see. If we start getting any early bites. I'd say around 5 we should have a better possibility at least. Ooh, there we go. That's a chub. That's the other. So we've seen grayling, we've seen brown trout, and now the other fish that we want to catch in this spot, the chub. A lot less XP. Probably a little less silver for that size chub as well, but still a great fish to catch here at Belaya. That's kind of the trifecta at this level, or you know, lower level, light gear like this. We want a spot where we can hit some chub, grayling, and brown trout. If you throw in a perch every once in a while, that's fine too. But chub do tend to be the one of those three that are the most active at night. We've now moved into early daytime. And notice it's sunny, so this could affect the fishing results here. We'll see how it goes. I think with this lure, ideally it'd have been a stormy or at least overcast morning. Little grayling. Sounds like Volkov's doing great right now. Someone else is reporting they're having good results in Yama on ultralight. That's interesting. There's a little grayling. We've had a really nice session here at Belaya. More importantly, we've had a fun session, but it's been nice. We've caught some nice little fish over here spinning. Knocked out that rough order. All right. I don't know that we actually turned in the rough order, though. I can't tell from the fish we have left. It looks like we might not have. Yeah, we didn't. All right, so turn in these. There's 31 silver. That is amazing. 2 cafe orders here at Belaya, plus the fish we caught on spin is pretty awesome. So is it a roach or is it a crucian gibble? Looks like it's a gibble. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Just anything you can do to sort of let your feeder rod soak while you're spin fishing and still catch some interesting fish. Hey, it's a crucian. No, it's a gibble. We're seeing a lot more gibbles lately than the crucians, aren't we? I feel like that's been true everywhere we fished so far. We eventually did see some crucians at winding, but actually, let's go ahead and dig first. I hate to, but let's do it. Small. Let's see what she is. Little brown trout. Ooh. Little grayling. Felt a little bigger than that, but, you know, when you don't have energy, that can happen. Another grayling. This is what you want in a Belaya spot, especially when you're low level. A chance for the bigger ones, but just a fairly consistent bite rate on these specific species of fish. go. Grayling. Over a kilo, I think. Oh, 1.5 kilo. Hit level 16. Let's go. Man, the grayling are hitting. I think you've been able to see just the difference in early morning, like pre 8 a.m. The spot's active like this. Make sure you're on it early in the morning. I guess the grayling in particular have been good. Wow. I mean, right now we can't even put the lure in the water. The great thing about this is leveling up our spin fishing. There's a brown trout. We're almost to 5% spin fishing, and we've not even started trolling yet. All right, I think what I'm going to do, because I had really planned on going to winding. So I think I'm going to, we'll wrap this episode up here shortly. But if you're watching this and you're like, man, I was really hoping to see winding, I will have both of the episodes, this one and the one that I film next at winding, release on the same day. So if this one popped up in your feed later this same day, the winding episode should also pop up. So as long as you're subbed to the channel on YouTube, you should get the notification or be able to quickly go check. I think I've been doing around 11 a.m. release time, Eastern Standard Time on my episodes. Originally I was doing 8 a.m., but I think I've switched it to 11 a.m. So what I'll do is I'll do this one for 8 a.m. and then the other one for 11 a.m. on that same day. Probably on Friday. I think I already have something lined up to release on Thursday. This is Wednesday when I'm recording this, but anyway, so I'll do both of these episodes releasing on the same day, since I've been talking so much about Belaya and then never went there. So now that we're past 8, almost 9 a.m., it's still worth it to fish this spot, obviously, but you do want to make sure you're fishing it first thing in the morning, last thing in the late afternoon, early evening. It seems like those when you've got your best chances of hitting a really nice bite rate and getting some of the larger, I'd say in this spot, grayling or brown trout. Though if you fish in the night or early morning, you might see that chub. All right, last cast. Let's see if we can get one more here. And we'll go check on our feeder rods. But I think especially if you, oh, that fish was tiny, but it hit our lure and then it popped off because I didn't set it. If you do, by the way, I guess I've never like talked about that. Usually what I do, if I can tell a fish hit the lure, then I'll go ahead and, like right there, I'll hit right click. You can hit control right click to really give it a hard set. But I'll usually hit right click, make sure I pull the rod up in the air. There's a nice brown trout. So like when I'm reeling, I've got the rod tip down. Because that's something I would do in real life. So I do it here. But once you have a fish on, you definitely want to move the rod tip up. You want to get the strength of the rod. You want that to help create that tension with the fish. So as soon as I get a hit, I'm usually hitting either the right mouse button or I'm shift reeling, something just to apply some more pressure to try to like set that, control right click, whatever, just to kind of set that hook for the fish. And once that's done, I'm just making sure that my rod tip is up in the air, and then just going from there on reeling that fish in. 10.7. We are getting there. All right, let's see how we did here. Another gibble. Another gibble. Imagine if there had been a gibble order here as well. It's funny, we never did catch that crucian. I think there was a single crucian order. And I don't know if it's still there. Actually, it's bounced off, but we never did catch one. All right, so let's see how we did. If you go by price, of course, that grayling will still be top. Oh, that's almost 100 silver. 45 minutes? Plus we had 10, so that's like 140 silver. Watch out. My goodness. That's kind of sick. Back up to 1,110 silver. So really what I'm thinking that we'll do, and this obviously, I'm continuing to enjoy reading the comments in chat. People are leaving on suggestions and stuff, but I'm really thinking that we continue to aggressively level bait harvesting so that we can fish for some bream at Old Berg soon. But we will, if we can get our bait harvesting up using some of the silver that we have and that we're making as we fish up to that 60%, then we can go ahead and go back to the Norwegian Sea and hopefully still have a little bit of silver, but the silver we make on our second Norwegian Sea trip, hope it funds maybe at least one of the rigs that we want to use trolling Cory. In my head, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That might be an interesting sort of track to try to take. But anyway, as always, I wish you all the best. Tight lines. Thanks for watching. And if you're interested, should have a Winding Rivulet episode coming up a little later today, where kind of the same thing we did here at Belaya. I just want to see how we can get a rotation going of fishing at a spot at nighttime, spin fishing during the day, or doing something during the day based on the cafe orders and all that. All right, see you next time.